Hi friends, I'm Joe Stoebenau from Joe Stoe Guitar, and today is Beginner Guitar Lesson 2. Now in the last video, I showed you the parts of the guitar, and we played our first chord, which was an E minor chord, if you remember this. So hopefully we're practicing that and got good at that. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to start with that chord. We're going to add one more finger, and we're going to turn it into an E major chord. Can you hear the difference between the two? The E minor chord, it's a sad sounding chord. And the E major chord, it's a little more happy sounding. But they're two distinct chords, and they're used in loads and loads of songs. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on that E major chord. Okay, so we're going to start with that E minor shape, and as a review, we're going to take our second finger, which is our middle finger. We're going to put it on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, and we're going to take our ring finger, which is finger number 3, and we're going to put it on the 4th string also at the 2nd fret. And we're going to strum all 6 strings down toward the floor. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're simply going to add our first finger, finger number 1, and we're going to put that on the 3rd string at the 1st fret. You put it there, press down hard enough that it makes a sound. There you go, and it sounds good. And you have an E major chord. Now we're still strumming all 6 strings. Don't forget to check for dead notes. Remember, dead notes are something that might sound like that. Could be that you have you're not pushing down hard enough, or that you have a finger laying over on top of another chord, another string, which is very common when you're starting out playing guitar, because generally you're usually not up on your fingertips enough. So make sure you rotate your hand. You can see my hand rotating there. So if it's down like this, you're generally going to be laying over on top of other strings. So you want to rotate your wrist and push your hand out like that, and that's going to automatically make your fingers be up on their fingertips. So I have a space in here. My hand's not squished up against the bottom of the guitar neck. There's an actual space. You can put maybe a coin or something in a little ball inside there. Okay? So up on your fingertips, and then one of the things you can do is go back and forth. Maybe strum 4 times on the E minor chord, and then put your first finger down to make the E major chord, and strum 4 times. E minor, E major. Okay, so that is the E major chord. So now you know 2 chords, the E minor and the E major. Okay, so that's what they should sound like. And that's a good way to practice that, is just go 4 downward strums, and then go make the E major chord and 4 downward strums. Now, just like I told you in the last video about how to practice that, taking your hand off, you want to do the same thing with the E major chord. So you want to learn that, make your fingers learn where to go, okay? Get that muscle memory. So you can take your hand off, kind of erase it, and bring your hand up. And if you have to go 1 finger at a time, do that. Don't worry about it, because eventually you do that enough times, you'll get it where all the fingers are going to go to where they need to be at the same time. And you'll get better at it, but you just have to spend at least 5 minutes a day doing this and working with these chords. So make the E minor chord, take your hand off, maybe, and then come up and make the E major chord. It doesn't take a lot of time you know, like I say, about 5 minutes a day. And if you put in that time, really in a short amount of time, you'll be able to make these chords without even thinking about them. So let's learn one more chord today, and that's going to be the A minor chord, and it's going to look something like this. If you notice, it looks a lot like the E major chord. In fact, the fingering is identical, except that we're just going to move every finger over one string toward the floor. And we're just going to go from here to there. Let's zoom in and I'll show you. Okay, here's our E major chord. Now this next chord, the A minor chord, it looks like this. That's what it sounds like. It's a beautiful sounding chord. So the fingers, your finger shape is going to be identical to what you just learned with the E major. So just simply take that shape that you learned with the E major and move every finger rather, one string closer to the floor. So I'm going to move these fingers down and this finger to there. So now your first finger is going to be at the first fret on the second string. Your second finger is going to be on the fourth string at the second fret, and your third finger is on the third string also at the second fret. So now you know three chords: E major, the E minor, and the A minor. So strum around with those chords, have some fun with them. It kind of sounds like a Pink Floyd song, doesn't it? These chords are used in millions of songs. The E minor chord, I think it's the first chord in Wonderwall. The A minor chord is the first chord in While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So they're really important chords to know. Now, one thing about the A minor chord is when you're strumming it, you can choose to strum all 6 strings and it'll sound fine, because all of those notes are in the chord. But it'll sound a little cleaner, a little better, not quite as muddy, if you pick from the 5th string down toward the floor. Okay? It just sounds a little less muddy that way. If you accidentally get the 6th string, don't worry about it. You're not doing anything wrong. It's not going to hurt anything. It just sounds a little cleaner sounding if you just use the 5 strings. Okay, so that's it for today. We learned the E major chord and the A minor chord. So add those to your practice time. Again, make the chord shape, take your hand off, bring your hand back up to that shape. You want to learn the muscle memory. You want to get those fingers to learn where to go. So make sure you don't have any dead notes. Don't forget to test for the dead notes. So if you liked what you learned today, hit the like button. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what songs that you want to work on, or what chords you're trying to work on, or something's giving you problems. Let me know and we'll work on it together. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.